it's Dr. Fawad Mian from Neurowellness MD and Poly Healing Med Spa. Today, I just wanted to briefly talk to you about the topic of blood sugar. So obviously, diabetes is something that's in the forefront of major health concern for many different people. But it's not only just even having diabetes, it's actually having the insulin resistance and even being pre-diabetic, that's also problematic too as well. One of the major reasons for that is it increases just body inflammation throughout the rest of your body. And starts leading to chain reactions of all sorts of things. These can include things that can affect your eyes, your heart, your brain, your nerves, and your kidneys. Ultimately, a lot of people can succumb to some of this. So if we don't control our blood sugars early enough, or are not diligent about it as time goes along, these problems can and then eventually will occur. And many other times they come along with other problems too as well, such as high blood pressure and high cholesterol. We call it more of the metabolic syndrome. So it's something that's definitely very important that we need to control. And so some basic ways that you can even try controlling this at home is, number one is obviously modifying your diet. So it's obviously staying away from things like cakes, cookies, pies are certainly one thing. But it's also staying off other things too as well, such as things like bread, pasta, rice. Those things all lead to increased insulin resistance and problems too. The other thing is if you do too much excess of anything, obviously there's going to be increased blood sugar spikes. So one thing that's actually helpful too as well, aside from just some dietary modifications, is even doing things like intermittent fasting, for instance. So that longer period between eating essentially helps decrease some of that insulin resistance and helps minimize some of those spikes. So a lot of people will notice that their blood sugars will start going down progressively as they do this. Obviously, we have to keep in mind that if you're on medication or what, you want to be able to adjust your medications and work with your doctor in terms of that. Sometimes for folks who do have insulin resistance and they're coming to see us, along with some of the other medical issues, we recommend things like supplementation, which sometimes can also help decrease some of that insulin resistance in addition to some of the dietary modifications. As we're able to control our blood sugar, we're actually able to control a lot of other things too as well. We tend to feel better physically, mentally, and then also just with our overall energy levels too as well, instead of feeling sluggish. Sometimes also we have insulin resistance or difficulty with our blood sugars. We have what we call like reactive hypoglycemia, and that's kind of when all of a sudden you feel like you got to eat, you start becoming shaky, you feel like you're going to pass out, you start getting sweaty, and that's because your blood sugars are just going like a roller coaster, and they're very poorly controlled at that point. And so when you get to the point where that's very minimal, that's kind of when you have more of those blood sugar spikes under control. Obviously, controlling blood sugars can pay dividends in terms of, again, just feeling better overall. And then actually what happens with that too as well is that we do have more energy to do other things, which can help our health, such as exercise, for instance. We do also know that we can start losing a little bit more weight with that. Because with insulin resistance, what happens is that we all start getting a bit bigger too as well, especially like around the abdomen and other areas too as well. So just being able to control that can definitely help with just losing some of the weight and some of the things that we're always looking towards. And obviously there are other things that we do in our office, such as the MR laser, which also can help decrease some of the fat and the adiposity around the abdomen or whatnot. But we always want to combine that with a good diet as well as exercise too as well, so that everything complements everything together. Another good way of actually looking at this too as well is that there are devices that are out there that actually you can put on your arm and in other areas of the body where they actually can measure your blood sugar. So for instance, if you eat a meal, you can know whether or not your blood sugar is spiking up and down. And that way you can actually start modifying what you're eating and knowing that certain things can be a problem. Whether it's you think eating oatmeal is a good thing for you versus having, like a piece of fruit, you can tell how big your blood sugar spikes are. And I think that's actually very beneficial as a reinforcement to actually controlling some of your blood sugars too as well. If you guys have any comments or questions, my team is always here to answer. Feel free to leave a comment or question below. You can always get on our website, and with chat, we'll definitely be able to get back to you and go over some more of these benefits of just modifying some of the things that you're doing.